Welcome back to Pastures Green. Hope you're all well. Hope you had a good break. It's our first record of 2026, and oh my goodness, such a lot has happened since we last had your company. And of course, there's one question on everyone's lips: who wears the shirt of West Brom at the moment? Which, of course, is this, which Mark put into Twitter this weekend. Who the actual F is Eric Ramsey? Hopefully, but these guys to answer that question in a little bit more polite fashion on this particular episode. 20 more minutes of West Brom chat coming up. We're looking back, of course, at all the football fun that's happened over Christmas, chatting about the FA Cup results, and more importantly, of course, Mason has gone. Dean, were you doing a skip down your road when it was announced? Where were you when the news hit?
Believe it or not, we were in a minibus travelling from Fez to Marrakesh for the next AFCON game. When halfway along, all our phones started going crazy, and it cheered us all up. Basically, it killed this 6-hour journey, made it a lot more pleasant. So good riddance.
Ben, his position became completely untenable, didn't it? Nine away losses in a row. You don't come back from that as a manager, do you?
No, definitely not. No, I mean, to do that, you can't really have any excuses, really. To me, it got to the point where even when we were winning games, that feeling of winning just wasn't quite the same, because you just knew, we'll lose the next game. There didn't seem to be any kind of progress of what we were doing. I think the game was QPR. We won the game. We played okay, but I just didn't quite have that feeling that you get after a win, because you've got a manager in charge who evidently didn't really have a clue what he was doing. And luckily, after that Leicester game we had a week later, he was given the sack, and hopefully now it's onwards and upwards.
Yeah, I mean, if that Fatua goal doesn't go in, Ben, do you think he would still be here?
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's quite ironic, really. The game that's got him the sack is probably the game we played the best. But at the end of the day, it's a results business. We lost the game, and that was it, really. So he created his own luck, I think, in that game. He made some silly subs again, but it's what it is.
Okay. Just as a quick one, Aaron, do you think he will be a good coach one day? I mean, was he just a wrong place, wrong time, or can you see him working? Can you see him working in football at this level again?
Well, I think he's worked under a lot of very good coaches in the past, and I think there's a lot you can learn from that. And if you can't learn from those kinds of coaches, then you never make it at this level. I just think that this job was too much for him at this stage of his career. I mean, this is his first managerial role. It's very different, I can imagine, to being an interim coach where you're just there to just G the players up and try and get something across with a bit of hope and glory. But when you've actually got to have your own tactics, make the players want to play the way you want to play. I think it's a bit different. I think he should have started his trade a bit closer to home, probably in League One or League Two. I think the financial constraints that we find ourselves in obviously didn't help, and the fact that we've sold a lot of players as well obviously wouldn't have helped either. So I think sometimes you can argue he's had one arm tied behind his back, but like Ben said, he's created his own luck. He's made some stupid decisions, and he's put out some stupid starting 11s. So you're not going to win games playing things like that. And I'm sure a better coach would have done a lot better than he has done. So had done at that point.
Tell you what, it shows that the Premier League fans don't watch the Championships, because after Spurs lost to Villa, there were actual genuine Spurs fans on Twitter saying, "Let's go get Ryan Mason." Incredible. Dan, I mean, just finish off our chat on Ryan Mason here. I think you were the first one of the four on here to say he's got to go. Right decision in the end?
Yeah, definitely. But to be honest, I think it should have happened a hell of a lot sooner. Just some of the results that we were getting, especially away from home. You can't lose 10 away games in a row and still expect to be in the job. But I think he should have gone a hell of a lot sooner. I mean, good luck to him in the future. He might become good for someone else, like Aaron was saying. Maybe drop down a league or two. But I think he was just flogging a dead horse, to be honest, at our place.
Okay. We wish you well, Ryan. Thanks for all the memories. Right, let's focus on our new man then, shall we? Right, what do we know then, Dino, about Mr. Ramsey?
His CV reads quite well, to be honest. Spent most of the time in the States, in Minnesota. Seems to have done quite well for them. Bit of a good pedigree coaching with Man United and Chelsea. So I don't know, to be honest. And nobody really does. So we've got to back him, unlike some fans who are criticising him already. Hasn't even took a training session yet. Got to get behind him.
Yeah, where does the criticism comes, I think, Ben, from again saying, look, it's another risk. He's not managed at this level before. The MLS, I mean, how do you compare the MLS to the Championship? How many leagues, what's the English equivalent of the MLS?
Oh, God. Team down the road for me, I reckon. Just down the park. No, I mean, when he was rumoured to be announced, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit underwhelmed. You know, you go from someone inexperienced, you kind of, for me, your next step is someone experienced. But the more I've read up on him, the more I've kind of seen, the more kind of on board I am with it. I think he's got a much better CV than what Mason had prior to coming into us. You know, he started his coaching journey quite early on. He's got a psychology degree, I think. He speaks 4 or 5 different languages. So he's put in all those hard yards. You know, he's not just been appointed someone's number 2 and has jumped into a job. You know, he's really put the work in. And as Dean said, he's done well with Minnesota in the MLS. You know, there's obviously jury's out on how good that standard is. You know, it's going to be a completely new challenge for him. I think the MLS, you know, the games are at walking pace to be critical. You know, you can't get relegated from there, can you, either? So there's not much jeopardy on the games. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how we coach through 3 games in a week up and down the country in the Championship. But as I said, reading his kind of CV and experience, hopefully we get kind of a McKenna type manager at Ipswich rather than a Ryan Mason. You know, it's clear that the owners want a certain type of person, a young and up and coming project. Hopefully this is, you know, we are putting our money on the right horse this time.
Okay. I mean, it's interesting you use that analogy, Ben, because that's what I was going to put to Aaron here, that some fans, Aaron, have said, I'm sick of our owners gambling with our football club, that we are not safe from relegation yet. You're putting in another person who doesn't know the league, doesn't know English football as well as others you could have got, and this is another risk which, if it goes horribly wrong, could spell us put us into League One. Do you get that view?
Yeah, but at the same time, the first appointment was Tony Mowbray, and you know Mowbray knows this team very well. He knows this league very well, and look how that ended. So it's a double-edged sword. Like, you can either say, "Oh, it's not going to work out because they've got no experience," but Tony Mowbray's second stint here was an absolute failure. There's no question about it. So you can have your own opinions. You can make your own. You know, you can say what you want about it, really, but that's the facts. You know, the 2 they've brought in at the moment both have failed, and it's both ends of the spectrum where one's got experience, one hasn't. So it's back to the drawing board. They've got, you know, Bilko obviously have their own sporting model when it comes to the footballing side of the actual project. And, you know, I think that they're not going to shy away. They're not going to stop doing it just because it's failed once or twice, I should say, sorry. And I think that it will come good eventually. I think, you know, once we're out of this financial pit and once we're in the clear with that, I think we'll be looking a lot better. When they can reinvest more of the funds that get put in, well, go through the system in the club as well. I think we'll be a much better side. We'll be much more sustainable, and I think we'll be a much more pleasing project.
What's he got to do this week on the training ground, Dan? What's the fundamental thing he's going to have to get working now with these players so that we can just arrest this run we're on?
I think he's really just got to sit down with the players and be like, what has actually happened at this club? Because, I mean, we've got so many good individual players, but they just don't seem to be working well together. So I think you just need to sort of make them gel, sit them down and just ask that question, oh, what's gone on? Why aren't you playing well together? Why this? Why that? But honestly, I'll probably get absolute pelters for this in the comments, but I don't think I think it is too much of a big risk to take with Ramsey. It's all what Ben was saying, like, it's not exactly the greatest league in the world, is it, the MLS? It is probably like one up from Sunday League football over the park. And it's it's a massive gamble, and I don't think it's going to pay off. I reckon it's going to end up being like another Mowbray, where that just failed massively. But time will tell. Hopefully, I'm wrong, and we start getting the vital points we need to stay in this league.
How's it gone down in your circle, Dean? I mean, people willing to give him, hopefully going to give him a go?
Nobody knows, do they, in truth? It could be a success. It might not be. We don't know. It's just complete unknown. I like the fact he's appointed Dennis Lawrence. He's got a lot of experience in the Championship. He's his number 2, and another one coming in as well, I believe. So he's doing what Mason didn't. Mason appointed Nigel Gibbs, which I don't think anybody ever actually saw. I don't know who he was. So he's supposed to be quite good, Dennis Lawrence. So he's surrounded himself with good, experienced Championship people, which is a positive. Let's see. Let's give the bloke a chance.
Okay. We have a look at the other betting odds, the other people that were being considered. Well, according to the bookies, being considered. Ben, Lee Carsley was there. Carlos was back there. James Morrison. And Slaven Bilic. That was the list. So I suppose when you look at that list, there really wasn't really much. I mean, Carlos Coburn wasn't probably going to come back. There wasn't really much to choose from, was there?
No, not really. I think we've got to be realistic at kind of who we are now. I mean, we're not going to go up. We're hopefully not going to go down. We're kind of in that mid-table Championship bracket now. We're not going to attract a massive name. It's not as appealing job as what it was a couple of years ago. We're not one of the big hitters anymore in this league. So we've got to pluck a name out of somewhere who we can take a risk on. And I think that's what we've done. As you're saying, there's no one on that list really. I'd be keen to have got in over Ramsey. My other idea was maybe pluck someone from Europe, like kind of Middlesbrough have done. But again, are we going to be able to attract that type of manager? It's kind of where we're at the moment, I think. So hopefully it's the right one, and we'll see.
All right. Speaking of Middlesbrough, then let's have a look at the fixtures to come, Aaron, shall we? Yes, Middlesbrough on Friday night. Make it a good game, please. Friday night TV. Norwich, of course, then next midweek. Derby, where you always lose, and then Pompey to finish off the end of the month. So how many out of 12, Aaron, would you say there is the minimum from Borough, Norwich, Derby and Pompey?
Well, Norwich, definitely, I think we should get 3 points from. I think they're in a position now where they're looking to get points wherever they can, but obviously they haven't been able to do very much of that this season, and they find themselves in a position, and I think that's on merit as well. So if we were to drop points there, I'd be disappointed, but at the same time, it'd be Ramsey's second game in charge, I think, at that point. So, there's a few teething issues. We'll give him a bit of leeway already. You've got to do that. I think the Borough one as well. You've got to, I don't think you're going to see immediate success. From what I've read, it's very much basic football. It's kind of purist ball. I've read, so it could work in our favour, but at the same time, it could get a lot to get used to it. So I think the Borough game, I won't write it off, but I'd be happy with a point. I wouldn't want to lose, and I don't expect to win. Norwich game, definitely expect to win. I don't think they're any good. And then with Pompey as well, I think we should be beating teams like a team like Portsmouth. I'd expect about 8 points if that's possible, somewhere around. I don't think we'll get 12, but I don't think we'll be low scoring in terms of points for that kind of for that time.
Okay. Quick word on the FA Cup, Dan. Of course, it went through on pens against Swansea into the next round. Happy with that, of course, I'm sure. And who do you want in the fourth round?
Well, we finally won a game away from home, albeit in the cup, and it did take us 120 minutes to do it and penalties. So that was a nice change. It wasn't exactly a glamorous performance, but we'll take it. It was this Jed Wallace bloke that we brought on. I completely forgot we had him, to be honest. But it was a great finish. Absolutely quality finish that was for him. And then young Ollie Bostock to get the winning penalty. So that'll be a massive confidence boost for him, and hopefully we get to see a lot more of him for the rest of the season. And you know what? I want to get revenge on Wolves, so bring them on.
No.
Okay. We shall see, because we've got this before the fourth round draw is being made tomorrow. Some transfer rumours and things. Rumours that, you and Hull are battling for Leon goalkeeper. Desperately need a goalkeeper. We've spoken about that before. Yeah. Any strength in that rumour?
No idea. I don't believe any rumours till I see him holding the scarf or wearing the shirt at the ground. We do need a goalkeeper, that's for sure. Still stick with Griffiths for a while, but you need somebody good to challenge him, I think, now and eventually. Probably take his place, I think. But yeah, we need to organise the defence as well, and we need to organise the whole team, to be honest. So hopefully the new manager, when he's got his work cut out, he'll sort it out.
Okay. Harry Whitwell has been recalled. Ben from Forest Green. He's won multiple Player of the Month awards whilst he's been there. Yeah. So do you think we'll be seeing him feature at all?
Oh, he came off injured today, I think, didn't he, or concussion or something. So
He looked pale coming off.
How serious that is. But we're desperate for centre midfielders for me. I think obviously we've lost Toby Collier. He's gone back to Man United. We're quite light in midfield. I don't really rate Diakite all that much, which kind of leaves with Mo and Malumbi, who, as you know, Malumbi's a bit of a ticking time bomb at times. So I think we definitely need some options in midfield. As Dean said, someone to kind of organise, a bit of a leader in there. So hopefully we can get someone in like that.
All right. Join us then. 20 games to go. The season's not over yet. We'll be interested to see what happens over the course of the coming months, and you'll be with us every step of the way. I hope. Do press the subscribe button if you haven't yet done so. It's amazing to have your company throughout the rest of this. It's been a shambolic season so far, hasn't it, in many ways? But yeah, it's never boring, is it? Never boring with the Baggies. To the letter L in our A to Z. I don't know how we've got here, but we have. One player, one incident, one memory beginning with L, which represents this club. Aaron, you can't put yourself in here, I'm afraid, but have you got anything else?
I don't think there's a great host of players that have played for us that begin with an L. There's a few names to think of, Livermore, Les Scott, Shane Long, but I think the biggest and obvious one for me is Lukaku. I think, he's in the past, in my lifetime as an Albion fan anyway, he's probably top 5, maybe top 10 players that have actually seen play for us. I mean, what was it, 17 goals in the one season. I was distraught when we actually didn't sign him on a permanent, and you're like Everton signed him for a little bit more than what we were willing to pay for, which was it wasn't pleasing, put it that way. And then we went and signed Victor Inichebe. So it was So
you're welcome.
It speaks for itself, really. So I think Lukaku. I think even the hat trick on the final day, as a goodbye message. I mean, you couldn't ask more from a striker. I think we really gave him his big break, and I hope one day he comes back to finish his career at the Albion. I think he really will.
Okay, Dino.
I was going to say Lukaku as well. Just for the perfect hat trick, right foot, left foot header against Man United, Fergie's last game. But special mention to Graham Lovett before the lad's time. But he was destined for big things, but he had a bad car accident which ruined his career. So yeah.
Okay,
Lukaku.
Yeah,
Dan.
Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, I'd probably have to say Lukaku as well, just for that hat trick last game of the season, Fergie's last game. I'm sure he come on as a sub as well, didn't he?
He did.
Okay. And Ben?
Yeah, I agree. Lukaku was one I had, I think, to score. But you get 17 goals as an 18-year-old in the Premier League. Remarkable, really. Just
brilliant.
Raw talent, raw. Just really exciting to watch.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much, you lot. Enjoy Ramsay Ball on Friday night, whatever that means, whatever that looks like. We will we will see. Thanks you very much for watching.
In the same moments at full time, we're happy.
Words banished to history.
That's all we asked for.
Right, we will see on Friday night then. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you all next week. Good to have you back with us. See you then.